Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Iowa Pagan News on the Prairie Land Radio Network. And this afternoon, I am joined by my good friend, author, and she is a clan elder. She's a teacher at Witchcraft, Wicca, and she's also been named the Witch of Oz because she's coming to us from Australia. So, good afternoon, Tamara. Appreciate you stopping in this afternoon to join me. And
G'day.
we're actually going to be joined by your friends Rebecca and Frankie as well. So thank you, folks, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me again, Earl. Lovely to see you again. And it's quite beautiful to be coming to you live, especially this morning because it's morning here, from our wonderful, wonderful property in Queensland in the tropics.
Yeah, as we were saying before we went on the air here, that I would gladly switch places with you because we just get another batch of the white stuff on the ground. So it's like, I gladly switch places, no problem.
Well, we don't understand what white stuff is over here where I'm from. So, so for those here in Australia, white stuff to Earl is snow. Now that's a funny thing that falls from the sky that's white and is very cold. So I just thought I'd explain that. And of course, Rebecca is down in Victoria, Melbourne, so she's used to snow. She knows what that looks like as well. And but yeah, we do have snow in Australia, just not where I am.
Yeah, because I think it's more in the upper elevations.
Yeah, well, and the lower elevations down where, because Australia is quite a large country, which a lot of people are not aware. You know, we do have snow even in Queensland, but southern parts sometimes of the year, and of course a lot of the mountains and that around Sydney, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, even south parts of Western Australia sometimes get snow, but it's very far and few between. The snow for us up here are golf ball hailstones. That's our snow. That's the closest we get when we're getting a cyclone coming through.
Oof. Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I don't think I'd go through that. Nope, sorry. 'Cause, you guys get bigger hail than what we get over here. Well, let's see. Now, the last time that we talked, I believe, was back in 2020, right after your book had come out on pagan elders. So we spent a good deal of time talking about that book, and you know, there has been a lot of discussions as of late, and because one of the parts of your book that people are referencing to over here is the talk on the witch census that you included in your book. So that's one aspect that's been talked about here lately.
Well, yeah, the census was sent to me from Oberon Zell, a good friend of mine in the States, that we did a tour together while we were over there. And it's always good to have a census. In Australia, a lot of people, because it's different to America, the census is very different, but we do have quite a lot, but the percentages is around about 28% in Australia that class themselves as alternative, earth religions, pagan, Wiccan, witch, etc., etc. But it's not just one aspect. It's just people that differentiate from being the new religion to just being an earth religion. And that's what the difference is here in Australia. So it's growing quite fast. It has been for a long, long time, which is good. I just hope it grows in the right direction. And not the wrong direction, because we don't want too many fools leading the way. We need, intellectual fools like myself.
Yeah, I would agree with you completely there, dear. That's another thing that's been really referenced to here as of late in discussions that I have come across and actually participated in is making sure that we have good people who are helping to uh, helping to pave the way for the younger generation just coming in and starting out.
Mm. And that's true. And I mean, even in my book, I said that the book was, Pagan and Witch Elders of the World. But in it, I also created the word elderlings of some younger people that are in their 30s and 40s, that which is young to me, that are up and coming, that can hopefully, with a bit of dignity, become elders of our future. And the thing is we need that. We don't need. I mean, the sad news is every time I get a message from someone, I've found out that another one of my friends or one of my brothers or sisters around the world has passed away, because we're all
Mhm.
60, 70, 80, 90 years of age. And it's
Right.
just really hard, just not so long ago, the 30th of December, my very good friend and first teacher as in herbalism, uh, Reverend Paul Bayerl, he
Mhm.
passed away, and that was quite sad. That was quite
Mhm.
that really shook me. I keep, and being on the other side of the world as well. It's very hard. There's nothing much I can't do. Anything I can't be there. I can't support their family or friends or churchgoers, and I just want new elders to be educated, true to themselves, a good earth walker,
Mhm.
and someone connected with a community that can really, with courage as a warrior, step forward into the society and take control of their own destiny and help the community to better their destiny without fear of retaliation. And in America, I know when I've done tours there, I've always been quite protected from other pagans and people over there,
Mhm.
and never understood why. But then I found out that the controversy is still there, even though it's very big, the pagan movement. There's still a lot of people that target elders or people of the community. So, which I didn't even know. Coming from Australia, I sort of just walk around with my handgun on my hips or my shoulder. I'm like a Texan. I live the Texas lifestyle in Australia, and that's how it is on the farm.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and really the the controversy and then also the bad stigmatism that the uneducated people tend to place on us. That is the most difficult part because there's a lot of people that are not even open to wanting to learn and to understand. And that's the
Mm,
problem that we're facing right now.
yeah, it is. And it's pretty sad because I travel around the world. I mean, like 20, 30 years ago, you never ever heard of the word solitary. You never ever heard of it.
Mhm.
And until sort of, a couple of people wrote a couple of books on solitary Wicca, then all of a sudden it's blown out of proportion. And I think I can understand solitary Wicca or paganism or solitary witchcraft to a certain degree, because there's not enough covens or groups or circles in the world that are educated strongly or devout in their followings, that people can find them, because there's a lot of Fruit Loops out there that just, they don't have their own existence or don't have their own life, so they decide, I'm going to be my own little god in my own backyard and create my own kingdom, and then they rule over these covens like they are gods and goddesses. And that's just, it's sad, because we all have ego. All elders, we all have ego to a certain degree, and you've got to have it, because without that ego, you don't believe in yourself enough. But then there's ego and there's stupidity, and there's a lot of people out there that just
Right.
don't know the difference between the two, which is quite sad. And I've been lucky that financially I've been able to travel the world every year. Well, pre-COVID, that is,
Right.
and meet and know a lot of people. And there's a lot of beautiful teachers out there, a lot of beautiful high priests and high priestesses or coven leaders or circle leaders that can really educate the masses. And I think solitary Wicca is great, or solitary paganism are great. But to
Mhm.
me, to be a solitary witch, you've got to be initiated first. And then if you choose to be solitary after that, then that's fine and that's good. But then I still see a lot of big gatherings and they're all solitary. So what is it? Is
Hmm.
it a coven coming together as solitary, or is it just a mob of solitary people coming together to just share? And that's what a coven is. And I think we need to go back to the covens, but we need more teachers. We need more educated people out there. And that's what my focus is at the moment. Not so much about numbers, but
Hmm.
more about getting people that I feel have that passion that I have, and a lot of people from my generation have, to bring into the new world, and I think we need that in every state, in every town, in every country. And even if you only have one person in your group or circle, it doesn't matter, because I'd rather teach one person correctly than teach a million people incorrectly. So
Yep.
fingers crossed that I think 2022 is going to be the year where the world's going to open up. We're all going to get COVID. We're all going to get immune to it. We're all going to move on from it. And then the goddess is going to come and say, okay, you've all been naughty. We've locked you away in your rooms because you've all been naughty children. Now we're going to open the door and let you come out. And hopefully you've learnt your lesson. And now you can get out there in the world and do something positive. So,
Well, that is basically you've hit the nail right on the head there. 'Cause I feel that that is what's been going on this past year. Um, just the other day, a friend of mine who is he's just beginning his spiritual path in Wicca and then also as a musician. And he actually basically he referenced me as one of his elders because he values my input. And it's like, I appreciate the sentiment. I really do. I am, what I am doing is just conveying the correct and proper information to everybody and introducing uh, the most important people in our community to everybody so that they know who they can go to for
mm,
information to get the proper teaching. And really, that's basically what my job is.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, like I said, I appreciate the sentiment. And that's the very first time that anybody has ever referenced me as being an elder in the community, which um, basically I take it to heart. I really do.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, being an elder doesn't necessarily mean that it's an elder of a trained field or
No.
section. Being an elder is basically years of wisdom, or age of wisdom, or something that they've learned through life that they can convey or pass on to others. And the clan of Boskednan is one of the oldest going groups continuously, in the world. And we've got groups all over the world. We've got people in the US as well. We've got some high priestesses and elders over there that are open to helping people. But we're very different to modern Wicca and modern Wiccan teachings. We go back to the more traditional format, and we connect more with the spirits of the land, the ancestors, the elements, without all the airy fairiness. And of course, I love Wicca. I've been classed as a Wiccan all my life. And the thing is that I just don't understand a lot of the principles. But the thing is
Mhm.
that there's a lot of wonderful magic out there to learn. And I think that people will find, I mean, we're all drawn to our teachers for a reason, as our teachers are sometimes drawn to us. And the world just doesn't happen. It's all created, and we're all on this earth walk together. And sometimes we cross paths with each other and we find our teachers and they find us. And I hope everyone can, because there's so much more to learn in a working circle or group than from books. And even though now I've written over 10 books and that they're all going really
Mhm.
well, and of course, Pagan Elders and that was a bestseller. It was really well received. But the thing is that we just need to. And the reason why I wrote that book is because, as I said, I'm losing all my friends. I'm losing all my brothers and sisters around the world because of their ages, because we
Mhm.
all come into the craft in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And we're all over that age group and we're on the way out, betwixt the horn, so to speak, one leg in the reality or life and one leg in the coffin. And I'm so happy to hear that Circle Sanctuary is having their first open PSG festival this June for the summer solstice. So that Selena Fox is very excited about having that. Pity I couldn't come over and join you, but then I'd be too scared of not being able to get back into my own country. So, but
Yeah.
I think I'll be there in America doing a full tour in 23. Lovely to meet everybody. And, and if you hear that I'm coming over there, please come and say hello. Give me a big hug, COVID free, of course, hug if possible.
Right.
And I'd love to catch up with everyone because we do a big tour when we're over there as well.
I I keep saying that one year I am going to be attending PSG. In fact, I am really looking forward to festival season this year because I am really hoping that I will be able to attend a lot of festivals this year, um, depending on the condition of my mobility. But I'm really hoping to be able to do some traveling. So look
Yeah.
forward
Well,
to it.
PSG is quite well situated, and they're always there for people that are immobile with wheelchairs and everything.
Mm.
A couple of my friends that are over there, and one of the high priestesses that I know, Mama Vic, she's always in a wheelchair and she gets around all the time, and she attends there. So maybe you can have your own circle of wheelchairs over there and call yourself Witches on Wheels or something.
Hey, that's a good idea. That's
I
a
could just
good
see you
idea.
all. I could just see a dozen of you all in your wheelchairs dancing around a circle.
Now that is a concept that, that's a good concept. I think we need to get started.
I think so. And the thing is that if you're in a community with people all like-minded that are with wheelchairs and that, then you're all there to assist each other as well. And I
Right.
think the camping grounds has that sort of setup to help people as well, which is good.
Yep, that is actually. And I want to let everybody know that who are tuning in on Facebook, if you'd like to join in on the conversation, to be able to post questions, whatnot, click on the live video link, the live video feed, and it'll bring you into StreamYard. That way you can post your questions and you can actually join us in chat too. So be sure to do that. Now,
And I'm open to all questions.
mhm. And like you said, we do have Rebecca with us and also Frankie, who is also off in your neck of the woods. So um, I'm glad to have the both of you with us today and happy to have you chiming in. Now, let's
Thank
see.
you,
Now, with
Earl. It's
all,
lovely to be here.
you're very welcome there, Rebecca. Now, with all the books that you've written, because in fact, you've been posting, I've been seeing the other books, your series on Wicca
Oh, the
that you,
first ones?
yeah,
Yeah, the first ones. Yeah.
I've been
My
seeing
first two books were basically the complete teachings of Wicca, helping people pre initiation understand what I believe is the concept of what everyone needs to know about the craft and the circle before they're initiated. And then it takes you up for the training of initiation or through to initiation. Um, and they're my two books. And of course, they're usually in Australian $40 each. And I've been offering them to people at the moment for two for $40. Plus, I can post anywhere and I'll sign the books as well, which means that the books only become $1 after I've signed it because they lessen in the value. But, but yeah, they're available, but they're available on dozens, hundreds of websites all over the world so people can get them. But if they want to get them for the price that I'm offering, they can do it directly through me. My next book I wrote was basically on the activities and working within a working coven, which is called The Witch's Coven. And it's got just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of activities, festivals, get togethers, things to do and what to do and how to do it. So it's also to help other people that may be in a working coven, even as solitaries, to help them get an idea of what they can do to make the group working better and closer knit together. It doesn't give you any high priest training or things like that, because if you want that, you need to get involved in a working traditional coven and go through that training to become a priest or priestess. You can't just wake up one day and say, I'm a high priestess, and that's it. You need to go through that training to do it.
Right.
And the next book that I wrote was Tarot Mysteries of Thoth, which is all the higher inner secrets of the journey that it takes with each of the major arcana. It's very different to any other book that's out there. But it's very involved and very in-depth. It's a training manual, helps people work with each of those major arcanas to get them through to the next level. And then the next book I wrote, I think that was my Little Witchling, my children's book, The Little Witchling, Belladonna. And it was about a naughty little witch that every time she does a spell, she screws up and gets it all wrong. And every spell ends up all over the bloody place. And the moral of the story is don't play being a witch, because at the end you'll get burnt. Learn about it, and at the end magic will be true and come back. So it's basically an educational book for children as well. And the next book I wrote, of course, was Pagan and Witch Elders of the World, which has been widely accepted and loved by a lot of people. Even a lot of pagan elders have thanked me and congratulated me on doing that as well. And then the next one I did write a book on solitary Wicca to help people a little bit as well, which is a bit of a combination of using some of my books 1 and 2 into that as well, but changing the format a little bit to make it suitable for people that are working solitary. And then the next one, I can't remember. Then I wrote my oracles. I did my oracles of the divine feminine, the goddess, and that's quite beautiful. That's a beautiful big gift box with cards and a big color booklet. And there's also some blank cards in there. So if people want to become an oracle and write their own, they could put that in there as well, which is quite beautiful. And then I've created the other 2 newer books, which have just come out. My Encyclopedia of the Divine Feminine, Goddess of 10,000 Names, and also the Encyclopedia of the Divine Masculine. So each of these is about different gods and goddesses from all over the world. They're big books. They're all like 600-700 pages in each book, and they cover where the gods come from, or goddesses, their culture, the history, what they're powerful of, what their magic's all about as well. So it's quite big, quite involved, and that's my new ones. And then I have another book coming out soon, which is going to be quite different, and I'm actually releasing through a London publisher, and it will be basically the lost magic of Cornwall. And it's about many ceremonies, rituals, and magic that are not spoken about in modern Wicca or witchcraft that needs to be brought forward. And it's a very, very, it's probably the most passionate book that I've ever written, because I never really wanted to share this with the public, but it's something from my heritage and from my line and from the Boskednan line as well, which is good for people. So that's what I've been doing. So I've been writing, and that's the one good thing about being in lockdown. You get a bit of time.
That's true. And sounds like there's some more books that I'm going to have to add to my library.
Please do. I need the sales. The thing is that when you write a book, everyone thinks that you're a multi-billionaire because you write all these books, just like J.K. Rowling's. And the thing is that you sell 30,000 books and you'll make $1 a book, and people don't realize sometimes you make more, sometimes you make less. It depends on the channels that you go through. But these days, everything goes through Amazon. And Amazon, you don't make hardly any money at all. So you've got to get out there and really push the flow as much as possible. And with my Facebook page that I've done, I've tried to help bring people to that page so they can follow other pagans and witches and Wiccans and follow their books as well, and maybe help them as well. Because I've been in contact with some authors that have only sold a few copies. And it's sad. And I think it's all to do with marketing.
Yeah,
it's all to do with marketing and getting out there, because every year there's 1 million authors writing a new book, and it doesn't mean there's 1 million authors going to make $1 from it.
Right. Yeah, and really, one of the publishers that I have really been supportive of is Moon Books, and that's over here in the States, because there are a lot of our pagan authors who are signed up with Moon Books. They do a really good job. They take care of their authors quite well.
Good.
And I'm glad to see that they're that you're putting out books about um, the teachings that have not been spoken of in who knows how long. That yeah, that does need to be brought to light so that
Mm,
people can learn from that and to get positive information from it.
mm. And I mean, there's so many books out there now, and the honest truth that there's a lot of books out there that are just repetitive. They're just
Mhm.
old information changed with wording a little bit to create new. But there's so many incredible authors out there that have got so much information and so much knowledge to share,
Mhm.
and yet they're not being recognized because they don't know the avenues or they don't know how to do it. And because you mentioned moon books, my publishers at the moment is Rose Onk Publishing in London, and they specialize in specialized areas, and that's what I love about this publishing company. And they take control of everything, and they do it with your blessing and how to do everything. So, and it's important to have publishers out there in the world that want to assist all the pagans and witches and Wiccans in the world. you know I'm tired of seeing people that struggle all their life and work all their life and then write these
Mhm.
incredible books, and they end up broke. They have no money, and it is sad. It is sad.
Yeah,
We
it
need
is.
to support all our authors. And the big thing I find on so many websites that I go onto is there's no ratings. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got lots of 5-star ratings on different things, and the one thing is don't just like your author, rate them, give them a rating. If you think they're great, then give them 5 star. If you think they're okay, give them 3 or 4 star. If you think they're shocking, then give them no stars or 1 star. But be honest, because
Right.
every rating helps empower the author for another creation that they might create down the road. If they really, like, I've been told sometimes I talk too fast, and I think, well, I'm old. I've got to get it out. I could be dead in 5 minutes, But Melissa, my beautiful co-host with my shows down here, she pulled it up to me, and I want people to be honest with me. If I talk too
Mhm.
fast, especially with my funny accent, we need to be able to support each other with honesty. And that's important for me. And I don't know whether I'm here for another 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, but what I want to do is, with every ounce of my breath, is just give to the community, help
Mhm.
the community as much as I can, and be there to support them. And I'm hoping that they support us as well in our work that we're doing. I mean, I've traveled so many much around the world, and my two biggest fans that I love and adore more than anything is Selena Fox and Starhawk, and they're both at the top of the ladder in what they've achieved and done for our communities worldwide. And sometimes people don't understand that. They don't acknowledge that. They see these old women on these shows, and they don't know what the hell, some of them are on about. But behind the scenes, they work effortlessly 10, 12, 14 hours a day working for their communities. And that's what we need, because we want to leave that as our legacy when we go.
That's very true, and something that you touched upon, just a little bit ago is that for our newcomers that are coming in, you don't just go off and start doing spells without knowing the repercussions that can transpire from those if you don't do it right. And I just
Mm.
had this conversation just yesterday with another host or another guest that I had yesterday. Uh, and she is a third degree um practicing witch and Wicca. Um, and she and I got into the same conversation. Um, just to let our newcomers know that if you're thinking about doing this, you need to have the proper information, the proper knowledge, get taught by our experienced people so that you know both the good and bad outcomes. Because if you don't know all the information, you could be doing something that's going to have lasting effects.
I mean, that's true. I mean, even with my classes that I teach people, they will hear me say two words all the time. One is witchcraft, and one is witchcraft. And the difference with people playing with magic and playing with spells is they wish, but it's not witchcraft. It's not true magic. But because of their psychological profile, the way they get involved or do it, they can create a lot of conflict and harm, not only for themselves, but for people around them, by not understanding the basic idea or concept of what magic or witchcraft truly is. And that's why we take years to be able to create a sacred space, which we call a magic circle. We take years to be able to learn this wholeheartedly, to protect ourselves, to attract power and energy in, to contain that power within it, and how to send it forth correctly. And then as priesthood, we then teach people how to respect the energies of the world and of the earth. And I think that people need to stop playing. I mean, I'm tired of hearing people waking up one morning and saying, "Oh, I'm a witch today. That's it," And I think, yeah, well, that's great. I'm really happy for you. But when I had the alchemy herbal centres, the shops in West Australia and that, I had a 14-year-old girl walk into my shop asking to speak to Lady Tamara. And my shop assistant, Elizabeth, called me over and I walked up there and I said, "Hello, I'm Tamara." She says, "Hello, I'm Lady Aphrodite." She was 14. And I said, "Oh, that's wonderful. Hello, darling." I says, and she says, "Yes, I have a coven. And there's me and my two girlfriends, and I'm the high priestess of the coven." And I went, "Okay." And I felt like just grabbing her by the scruff of the neck and throttling her, but you can't. And then I just turned around and said, "Okay, darling, I'm sorry, but come and sit down with me and we'll have a coffee. I need to have a little bit of a chat." So I just sat down and had a talk to her. And she walked out and I said, "Yes, you can have your group, you can have your coven, but don't go giving yourself titles. It's like you walking into a surgery and saying you're a brain surgeon, and yet you're actually a bush mechanic." It takes years of training, and that's what people have to realize. It's a university degree.
Right. That's exactly right. Now, I'm going to pose a question to Rebecca. Now, you have been, I take it you've been working with Tamara here, and because I'd like to get your input as well.
Rebecca, lie, Rebecca, lie.
Oh my God.
No,
look,
just be honest. Just be
um,
honest, darling.
I've my
Sorry.
I hate it. I'm just going. No, truly, I love it. I don't know how long I've been training now. I started last year when the course started.
Yeah.
And that's great. I had no knowledge, only things I'd sort of read, different areas. And like Tamara said, for me, it was quite confusing because there is so many different authors out there and so many different people with their own input on it. And it was only when I found Tamara's course and started it, I thought, no, this was really congruent within me. This was home. This felt like I needed to be here. And so for me, paganism, Wicca, witchcraft, that's my passion. That resonates so well, and feels like home. And I would just recommend anyone to try it, but go and seek professional people like Lady Tamara, who is the high priestess. Find the high priestess in your area and look for recommendations.
That's one thing.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Well, not what you wanted, but
he wanted some dirt. He wanted some dirt on me, love. That's what Kate's news.
Because I've never dirt. No, I can't get dirt, and I've never been.
And do you know why?
Before, so
because we're all in lockdown. But there are many teachers. We have, I mean, I do all my classes now online through Zoom and everything. And I've got one-to-one training that I do with them. And a lot of our circles overseas do the same thing with Zoom classes. And it's not expensive. We charge like $20 a month or $25 a month to do our course, and that covers just our costs and things like this. But it also helps people meet other fellow like-minded people, and it brings people together in their community, even though we're thousands of miles apart. When you're online on Zoom, you're a family. You're together. And that's what's important for a lot of people. And I'm trying to support these people as well. I don't want them to be solitary in the mall, because humans are not meant to be solitary. We are not a solitary creature. We want to have people around us all the time. And when I get people like Rebecca, that because of her years of being involved in the world, it's good to have older people. I know that, sorry about that, Rebecca, but it's good to have mature people, because they've already experienced a lot in life. And they're coming in now with an open mind or clear picture. And it's different. The way a 20-year-old thinks and the way a 40-year-old or whatever thinks is very different. The same as a 60-year-old. We all think differently because of our life journey or life experience.
This is very true. And that's something else that the other message that I try to convey to people is that now is the time to stop being so standoffish and trying to just do everything on your own and not really learn from people, and to come out and participate in gatherings, participate in festivals, whether it be just attending, whether it be volunteering, working behind the scenes, whatever. That way you can get to know other people, you can gain knowledge, and really be able to take in what you feel is relevant to you. And then the old adage for me is take in what you feel is right for you, toss the rest out in the garbage, because you want to make sure that the information that's being conveyed to you is going to be relevant for your path, relevant to you personally.
Very much so. And I think that it's important because everybody can be an elder. It's like Rebecca. Rebecca's come into our training only over the last year from last year, but she is an elder in her areas, in her fields, and she can teach us many things because of her psychotherapies and the professionalism of what she's had all her life. But we all have something to teach, but we do not go out claiming to be something that we're not until we've trained in that area. And I think that's important. And there's a lot of excellent teachers in America. In the US, there's hundreds of really good teachers that really want to give you the time of the day. A lovely lady that I met many years ago at PSG, Melanie Hexon, is a wonderful, wonderful mother image and a great person to teach others and guide them. And there's a lot of others as well, and I think that people just need to ask the right questions when they get involved, and find that, it's not as hard or as bad as what people think. There's so much involved.
Oh yeah, that is true. Okay, now I'm going to pick on Frankie.
Oh God.
What deserve it?
Frankie, I'm going to pose the same question to you. Now, what got you started?
Goodness, I've never done this before. I guess I'll
Do what
probably
Tamara told you to do, lie.
I'll probably been spoiled and blessed over many, many years because Tamara is also my mother. So I live in two worlds. And she's always my mother, always has been, always will be. But when I'm training and learning and asking all my crazy questions, I have to put that mother figure aside and take her on as Lady Tamara. And she gives me a lot of I'm trying to think of it. She doesn't single me out or pick me out. She asks me all the same questions and treats me no different from any other student. I've just been blessed and I guess over my many years of being brought up by Mum, I've probably even been a bit naughty by running off, being young and not paying attention when I could have learned a lot more and taken a lot more in over the many years. And I guess it's in my mid-30s, close to getting on to 40s, that I've grown up and come back home and paying a lot more attention and being a lot more intuitive. I don't know if did that answer the question, Earl?
Oh yeah, you did a good job of that.
Yeah, but
yeah. Go ahead.
I guess I've just largely been very fortunate, and it's high time that I see that and respect that.
Well, and that's good that you've got that that image and the wisdom to know that now's the time to really kind of knuckle down and start learning what you're supposed to be, and that way you come out for the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I must also add there as well, Earl, that I'm probably a lot tougher on those that I'm closer to on purpose, because I expect more. I expect more. And, I don't like laziness or idleness. And the only thing that I fear in this world is ignorance. I don't like ignorance. I don't like what it does to the world. And I think that's my key factor. But I think there's a lot of people out there that that need a mother, and I'm more of a mother than a high priestess in many ways, but I'm also a tough mama figure as well to a lot of children. And in actual fact, all the clan members, they all call me Mama T. And that's only because of my connection. I do care a lot about everybody, until they stab me in the back or do something, and then I'm like the mother chook in the nest. I push them out of the nest, and they can find their own way.
Yep. And I came to the conclusion just the other day that now that we're starting off the new year, I think it's high time that I start undergo proper training myself. Because I've not really considered myself to be a witch or being a part of Wicca, but being pagan is all about being a part of that. And I think it's high time that I really do what I was just saying, knuckle down and start learning all that I can so that I can help others as well. That because I have people coming to me every once in a while and asking me for information, and I even had I even had a young girl come to me and ask me about spells. I'm like, time out. Like, I am not the person that you want to talk to about this. I've only done 2 in my entire life. But I read up on it first, and I made sure that what I was doing was correct, because I didn't want it coming back and biting me. So,
Well, I'll send you the enrollment form, Earl, so you can come and join the clan and study with us and teach us, so that we can have another teacher over in America. Because all the teachings in America are very Gardnerian or Alexandrian based, all of them. And that's only modern Wicca. That's not old, ancient, traditional witchcraft. And that's what I'm trying to educate people to understand the two differences. Even though I am an Alexandrian high priestess, I'm also a Gardnerian. I'm also a traditional witch. But above all those things, I'm a clan elder. I'm a matriarch of our system that's been going for hundreds of years. And that's what I'm trying to educate people to understand, all those differences. They're not all the same thing.
right.
So you're quite welcome to have me as your mum And you as my student, Alan.
Yeah.
I would
I
gladly take that on as well because
Yeah.
my path has always been one of it's an eclectic path of antiquity, which
Mm.
to me, I because I value the old ways, and that's what I put my faith in.
I
And that's
appreciate
exactly
what you're.
Go ahead, Rebecca. Yeah, go ahead, Rebecca.
that was Frankie.
Hello.
Oh, Frankie.
Hello.
Oh, yep.
Sorry, I
I
Sorry,
knew a
but
while ago.
yeah, that was me. I didn't mean to butt in. I just wanted to say I appreciate what you're saying, because that's what one thing that has happened for quite some time and still does, and that's being a mum's son. A lot of people out there come and ask me, what else do you know, and all this sort of stuff, with the precursor of mum would teach me things that she wouldn't teach a lot of other people, or I know a lot more than what I let on, and that's not the case.
Mhm.
I have to earn my place and by my own studies and so forth. And the one thing that I can be very proud of with mum and teachings and experiences over the years is keeping that family tradition.
Mhm. That is true. Because you know, when you're involved in whether it be a small circle or even a large circle, you're still part of a family because that's the way a lot of people look at it.
Mm.
Okay, now, let's see. So,
uh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah,
Sorry,
go
it's
ahead, Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Sorry. I just wanted to say that the family part and the feeling like it's home with the group and the I suppose, I don't know if it's a coven that we're doing at the moment or the course, but it's nice, and it just shows that blood doesn't have to be family, and that's really big for me. So yeah, I just thought, put that out there as well.
Very cool. So now, with all the books that you've got out now, the one thing I was going to mention is that one of the big retailers here in the States is called Barnes and Noble,
Mm.
and they have a new age section where you can find a lot of the new age books, including paganism, Wicca, paranormal. You pretty much find just about anything in that section, and they are really open to having books from authors in that category. So that is one thing that I would love to be able to see happen is a increase in books at Barnes and Noble from all of our pagan authors.
Mm. The thing with Barnes and Noble is it's like everything they do. I'm with Barnes and Noble, so I've got all my books with Barnes and Noble,
Mhm.
and a lot of others. But I've been lucky enough to be able to promote and touch base. Whenever I tour, I go to the head office of these big companies myself and promote them myself. And I promote my books in a way differently to what other people do. Um, and Barnes and Noble is very important, but they will not have 20 of the same sort of book. They want all their books to be standing out and be individual on their shelves, whether it's
Mhm.
online or in their stores. And I mean, they won't have 20 books on the basics of Wicca. They'll have 2 or 3, and then they'll have more advanced, and then things like that. So they've always got something a little bit different. And they're very careful with not to have too many of the same area. They
Mhm.
have just enough. And they're quite professional. I mean, let's face it, they're one of the most successful bookstores in the world, especially in America at the moment. So
That's true. That is very true.
But then a lot of books that are published in America from some certain publishers over there, which I can't mention their names, will not be able to get their books into Barnes and Noble because of the privacy of being with this one publisher. So, and plus big companies like Barnes and Noble do not like self-published authors. They it's like anything. They have to be recommended to them from publishing companies or houses or qualified people that can say, yes, this is a really great book and it'll do well in your store.
Yeah, and that's good that they want to do that.
I mean, it is a business.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And they want to have the best-selling books that they can possibly have in their stores.
Yeah. And I mean, my book's on Goodreads, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and it's got 5 stars. It's got top ratings from all of those. Well, different books that I've got to have. Not all books have been top sellers. Some have been absolutely hopeless, and some have been absolutely brilliant. So I'm finding that as I go on through my writing career, that my latter books are becoming more and more acceptable by the pagan community, whether they're Wiccans, witches, alternative, or whatever. So that's really good as well. And I think it's because I'm out there a lot as well. I try to promote myself. I mean, if you go on, I'm on hundreds of thousands of websites all around the world. So I'm lucky in that respect. It doesn't mean that I'm selling hundreds of thousands. It just means that I'm out there. So I'm willing to walk the streets if I have to, but not with a red light.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that your presence is known out there, and that people are aware of the books that you've written and your knowledge, your experience, and being basically a clan elder. That's what people. I'm really hoping that our younger generation now will start reaching out to people like you and other elders in the community so they can learn from. Because I fear that with them not reaching out and asking questions, learning properly, that they're going to get on the wrong path.
Yeah. And that's exactly right, Earl. I mean, we've got one of our elders in America, and she is a psychotherapist and she deals with children. And she's interested in helping the young people, teenagers and things like this, find their roots and find their ground spiritually. And to me, my job, as I explained to all my elders, is not to make people witches or pagans. Our job is to help them find their true path, their true calling. So if they wish to become Buddhists or Hindus or Christians or whatever, if we can help focus them on their own path, then we've done something beautiful, because the world needs alternative spirituality. We need diversity as well. And I think that's important, and we do have different elders in the clan that specialize in certain ages or certain areas. So we have some that focus on the seekership, on those that are interested as adults. We have some that focus on initiatory processes and training after initiation. And then we have some that train the priesthood as well. So it's quite involved, but it's still very laid back. It's very relaxed as well. I'm the only one that bites because, I just like it.
So do I.
But we've got new studies coming up for our clan starting from March this year. And as I was saying, in Australia, we charge $250 a year for the whole thing. And that includes membership into the clan and all that sort of thing as well, and introduction to other people, plus a full course, which is weekly. So there's over 50 lessons. It's not like a normal out-of-court lesson where you've got 10 or 12 and people are charging like wounded bulls. So $250 in America is only, I think, less than $200 for the year. Or if people need to pay it monthly, then we do a direct debit and they can pay $25 a month and do it that way. And then they're a part of the clan as well. And then when I come over to America on tours, which I'm planning to come over in 23, doing a tour. Selena Fox has invited me, and Tony Rotonda from Buckland Museum have invited me to come back and do that as well as a guest elsewhere. And that way we can all meet at PSG, which is a great festival gathering, and we can have our groups together. And then if there's initiations, I'll be there to help them with the initiations and be a part of their life as well. So, and that's what I want to do. I'm trying to do that all before I take my last breath, because I've only got a little bit of time left, and I don't want to be spending too much of my rest of my life teaching and training. I'd rather other people do that for me, and then I can just go around and either pat people on the back or slap them. It depends how I feel.
We definitely want to keep you around for a while yet, there, dear.
Yes, I told Selena at the cemetery there to make sure that I've got a plot that's big enough to have a couple of really cute guys to come with me, like the ancient Egyptians, as I don't want to be alone when I'm dead. That I'd rather have someone cute with me to make sure.
Cool, very cool. All right. Let's see, Rebecca. Any last thoughts?
No, but I was sitting here thinking, just curious. You've written a little witch book, which my grandson's got, and it's great. Would you be looking at doing more children's books, to get more kids interested
There
and
we go.
curious about the craft?
Oh, the answer is probably not. When I never even had an idea of writing a children's book, the honest truth. It was my publisher that said, you should write a children's book because it'd be really good. And I'm going, but I don't want to. I don't like children. and they said, but you should, because doing your witchy stuff would be really good. So it took me 6 weeks to write that and do that and have it published. So I did that, and it was fun when I did it, and it was fun afterwards. But I think that I don't really want a book for children, teaching them about witchcraft and that, because to me, you need to go through life and experience. Children can choose to be pagans if they want to, but choosing to be a Wiccan or witchcraft or choosing a religious path is not for children. It's for adults when they've started on their journey. It's like anything, as children, we don't think about sexuality until we're teenagers. And then when we're teenagers, that's all we think about, and it's the same as with spirituality. We need to have that mentality or age about us to be able to grasp the concept of becoming spiritually involved, because it's not about being in a congregation like at a Christian church and sitting in the back seats and singing the hallelujahs and listening to the teacher. It's about being involved, and it's about, I say to people, if you want to be pagan, then you can be in a congregation, a world congregation of pagans. You don't have to practice everything and anything. You can be open to everything and anything. And then I tell people also that to be a witch, you need to be initiated and go forward and train and practice and work with it as much as you possibly can. But everything is about commitment. And I think as a child, it's not a good aspect to teach about spirituality. Maybe teaching about other religions, doing schools, having enough pagans that want to walk around and teach spirituality of pagans at schools as a diverse aspect, but not a complete thing of saying, get involved.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've got someone.
My sort of thought.
I was just gonna say I've got somebody new who is going to be joining up with the my group here for Iowa Pagan News, and she's actually from New South Wales. I believe her name is Kat McEwen. And McEwen, yeah, she says that she's just starting out her path, and that I'm pleased and happy to have her be a part of this. So I just in fact, I just seen that, so I thought I'd toss that out there and officially welcome her to IPN Radio, and glad to know that there's more people in your neck of the world that is just starting their path.
And welcome, Kat. Welcome to the US of A. y'all come back now real soon. You hear, honey child?
You got that down pat.
Y'all coming. I spent a lot of time in New Orleans with a lot of friends from down New Orleans. So every time I go to America, I've got to go to New Orleans because all my babies are down there, which I love to visit. So it's sort of quite beautiful.
Very cool. All right. Frankie, any last words?
Not that I can really think of, Earl, but thank you very much for having me on your show, and my beautiful lady mum, Rebecca. It's been wonderful talking. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I want to thank you for taking time to join us today. The same goes to you there, Rebecca, and I wish both of you well on your journeys. And I look forward to joining the clan.
Yeah.
Love to have you,
Likewise.
Will. You could be a
very much.
spokesperson for us over there as well.
Cool. That'd be more than happy to do. Anyway, I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in this afternoon to Iowa Pagan News on the Prairie Land Radio Network. We've been having a really fun time talking with Lady Tamara, who is a good friend of mine, and also will hopefully one of these days be my high priestess. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you have questions for her, you can reach out to her online. I've posted her website in the scrolling banner so that you've got access to that. She's also on Facebook. And what other forums there, dear?
I don't know, darling. I don't know all that. So I know I'm on Facebook and I know I've got websites. But if people want to reach out, they want to learn about the clan and about traditional witchcraft or anything like that, please just contact us through my Facebook page, through Tamara Von Forslun, or through the Witch of Oz Facebook pages or something like that. There's quite a few out there. I've got quite a few. So I'm everywhere. But the more students we've got, the more I can bring people together and help teach you correctly. And hopefully one day Earl could be one of our teachers over there and help guide people correctly into the craft, which is what we're needing. We're needing good people to stretch their arms around the community and look after people and help guide them correctly. And I want to thank you very much, Earl, for having me on your show again. I look forward to coming back to the US hopefully in 2023 and doing a tour. And I might hopefully meet people at PSG when I go over there, and also meet all my members and clans and fellow pagans and witches as well. So thank you very much, my darling. I'm very happy to be back on your show, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Well, I want to say thank you as well. And be sure to check out TamaraVonForslun.com. That is her website to go to. And the one quote that's right there on the front page that I'm going to read to everybody. If I am indeed wise, I do not bid you enter the house of my wisdom, but rather lead you to the threshold of your own mind. So just keep that in mind when you're contacting their Lady Tamara. This has been another edition of Iowa Pagan News on the Prairie Land Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. If you have questions for me directly, you can reach me at earl@iapnradio.net. Also through Gmail at iowapagannews@gmail. Pleasant journeys, everyone. Keep everyone around you safe. And for those of us who are here in the U.S. and Midwest, stay warm because I know we've got more cold weather ahead of us. So I will be back again with you. Let's see. Monday. Yeah, I've got 2 interviews scheduled for Monday. So stay tuned for those. And I will talk with everybody soon. Pleasant journeys. Have a good evening. We are going to be out of here for today.
Blessed be.